Police told to prioritize anti-immigrant hate crimes as true nature of post-referendum racism is revealed. Every one of the country's police and crime commissioners have been instructed to prioritize tackling a surge in post-referendum hate crimes, following damning new revelations about their scale and nature. The worrying extent and specifics of the new wave of anti-immigrant racism was detailed in full on Friday after The Independent was given exclusive access to a database of incidents compiled in the weeks since the vote. The call to the regional police chiefs to crack down on the outpouring of anti-immigrant sentiment follows a push by ministers for tougher sentences for the crimes and new guidance on their reporting. Now, in a letter sent to the commissioners, Liberal Democrat leader Tim Farron warns that Britain's future as a tolerant country could be at risk if the new hostile climate for immigrants becomes permanent. This type of vile abuse needs to stop and we need to work together to try and get rid of it, Mr. Farron told The Independent. The Britain I know is a open, decent, liberal, and tolerant place. We have always been a beacon of hope for those in need. I am writing to every police commissioner to ask them to prioritize this issue and make sure they reach out to community leaders. The report has also prompted further cross-party condemnation, with Natalie Bennett, leader of the Green Party, describing the findings as an explosion and laying the blame squarely at the door of anti-immigrant politicians. Yesterday Andy Burnham, Labour's shadow Home Secretary, said the government bore some responsibility for the rise in crimes, having contributed to the unwelcoming climate following the vote. Ms. Bennett today said, "The explosion of hate crimes in Britain after the referendum has been deeply shocking. The poisonous drip-feed of xenophobia from certain politicians is now being mirrored in our towns and cities. Our country is world-renowned as an open society, where people from across the world can make a home, but that reputation now hangs in the balance. Sadly, there will always be some racism and intolerance, but rather than confront such hate, politicians in Britain have capitulated to prejudice for far too long. We are now in an emergency situation. Children are being verbally abused and people fear walking down the street. Those politicians who peddled anti-immigrant rhetoric, and those who failed to stand up to it, must take some responsibility for what's happening. The government could take a lead to settle the divides in our society by guaranteeing EU nationals living here that they'll be able to stay. Britain is better than this. We all need to play a part in healing our country after a bruising few months." A database of accounts collected by social media monitoring services Post-Ref Racism, Worrying Signs, and Street Watch recorded a litany of crimes in the wake of the referendum, with virtually no corner of Britain left untouched. In a report written with the support of the Institute of Race Relations, the three services warned that politicians were creating a hostile environment through their pandering to anti-immigrant voices. If a hostile environment is embedded politically, it can't be a surprise that it takes root culturally, they warned. Hate crime figures reported by the National Police Chiefs Council in the immediate aftermath of the referendum found a 57% increase. Indiana reports of such relevant crimes. Amber Rudd, the Home Secretary, said this week that the government will not stand for racist hate crimes. Hatred does not get a seat at the table, and we will do everything we can to stamp it out, she said.